Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm Kerry. Today I'll be showing you how to crochet a fire engine, which was a request I received. When crocheted using 8-ply yarn and a 3mm hook, the large one, the size is 19 centimeters wide by 15 centimeters or 7.5 inches wide by 6 inches. The medium fire engine, crocheted using 4-ply crochet cotton and a 1.5mm hook, is 13.5 centimeters wide by 9.5 centimeters or 5.25 inches wide by 3 3/4 inches. The small fire engine, crocheted using 2-ply crochet cotton and a 1mm hook, is 10 centimeters wide by 7.5 centimeters or 4 inches wide by 3 inches. I'll be using Catona cotton today, so the size will be a bit smaller than this large one. I'll tell you the size at the end of the video. I'll be using Catona cotton. I've got 390 Poppy Rose, 192 Scarlet, 106 Snow White, 110 Black, 074 Mercury, 242 Metal Grey, 509 Baby Blue, and I'll use the tiniest bit of 208 Yellow Gold for the top of the Siren. I've got a 2.5mm crochet hook, scissors, a darning needle to weave in the ends, and sewing thread and a needle to stitch it together. Now I'm starting on the front part of the fire engine, the cab. I've got my 390, the Poppy Rose, and we start with 16 chain. For row 1, we miss the first chain and work one single crochet in each chain to the end. We'll have 15 stitches. A single crochet is a double crochet using UK terms. For a single crochet, we put the hook into the stitch, the second from the hook, and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook, and take our hook with this yarn at the end through the 2 loops. So we need one single crochet in each remaining stitch. For row 2, we start with one chain and turn, and work one single crochet in each of the 15 stitches. For row 3, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each stitch. We'll have 15 stitches. For row 4, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 15 stitches. For row 5, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet into each of the first 14 stitches. We miss the last stitch. For row 6, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet into each of the 14 stitches. For row 7, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each stitch. We'll have 14 stitches. For row 8, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 14 stitches. For row 9, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the first 12 stitches. We miss the last 2 stitches. Now we're going to start on that top part for the windows. For row 10, we start with 15 chain. And then we slip stitch into the 4th last stitch, so this stitch here. Then we turn our work over and we work 1 slip stitch into each of the last 6 chain. For a slip stitch, we put our hook into the stitch, bring through a loop and take it straight through the loop on the hook. So we need a slip stitch into each of the next 5 stitches as well. And then we work 9 chain. We miss the next 2 chain along the bottom and slip stitch into the next stitch. And then we turn our work and slip stitch into each of the last 6 chain. And then we work 11 chain. And we slip stitch in the last stitch along row 9. And that's the cab done except for the neatening row. For the neatening row we don't turn or fasten off. We start with 1 chain and we're going to work 1 single crochet in each stitch down to the corner. Into the corner stitch, either work 2 single crochet or 1 single crochet 1 chain and 1 single crochet, whichever you prefer, and then work 1 single crochet in each stitch along the bottom. And we work our corner stitch the same as we did the last corner, either 2 single crochet or 1 single crochet, 1 chain and 1 single crochet. And then work 1 single crochet in each stitch up to the next little part. Now I work a single crochet into that corner there, and then I work 1 chain and I'll slip stitch just along into the next little corner, and then I'm going to just work a slip stitch up to the next little corner there, just to keep the shape looking good. And then I'll slip stitch along these next couple of stitches. Now I'm going to work a single crochet in each stitch along to where this corner would be. So a single crochet in each of the chain, and work a single crochet in the top of the chains and slip stitches. And then a single crochet in each of the next few chain. For neatening rows, it can be easier to use a finer hook. Just makes it easier to get into the stitches. Now we're going to work 1 single crochet, one single crochet in each of about the first 4 chain. And then work 2 single crochet into the next one for the corner, or 1 single crochet, 1 chain and 1 single crochet if you prefer, and then 1 single crochet in each chain down to the beginning of the row. We slip stitch in the top of the first stitch, and fasten off. And that's the cab part of the fire engine done. I'll just weave in these ends and I'll be back with the Scarlet and we'll work this step at the bottom of the cab. Now for this step part, I've got my 192, the Scarlet, and I join to the bottom corner of my work, so this stitch in here. We start with 2 chain and we work 2 half double crochet in the same stitch as the join. A half double crochet is a half treble using UK terms. For a half double crochet, put the yarn around the hook, hook into the stitch and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook and take the hook with the yarn at the end through all the loops. We need another half double crochet in that stitch. Then we work 1 half double crochet in each stitch along the bottom to the last stitch. I'm just working over the top of the tail. Now into the corner stitch I work 2 half double crochet, 2 chain and slip stitch into that same stitch and fasten off. And that's the cab with the step done. For this back section, it's worked the same from row 2 to 16, so I'll work 1 and 2 on camera and then do the rest off camera. I've got my 390, the poppy rose, and we start with 19 chain. For row 1, we miss the first chain and work 1 single crochet in each chain to the end. We'll have 18 stitches. Now rows 2 to 16 are all work the same. We start with one chain and turn and work one single crochet in each of the 18 stitches. Now we need another 14 rows worked the same as row 2, so I'll work those off camera and then I'll be back. I've worked 14 more rows of one chain and one single crochet into each of the 18 stitches, so I've got 16 rows altogether, so that's the back section done. For the neatening row, I start with one chain and work one single crochet in each stitch down the side. Into the corner stitch work either 2 single crochet or 1 single crochet, 1 chain and 1 single crochet. And then we continue like that, working 1 single crochet in each stitch along the straight ends and either 2 single crochet or 1 single crochet, 1 chain and 1 single crochet into the corner stitches. So I'll complete my neatening row off camera. I'll be back when I get to this last corner. When I get back to the beginning of the row, I work a single crochet in the same stitch as my first single crochet and then slip stitch in the first stitch and fasten off. And that's the back section done. I'll work the step now along the bottom, so I'll join in the bottom corner with my 192, the Scarlet, and work 2 chain. We work 2 half double crochet into the same stitch as the join, and then 1 half double crochet in each stitch along the bottom to the last stitch. Work 2 half double crochet into the last stitch, 2 chain, and then slip stitch into that last stitch and fasten off. And that's the back section done. Now for the very centre of the wheels, I've got my 07 for the Mercury, and I start with a magic loop. There's lots of ways to make a magic loop, so make it how you feel most comfortable. I put my hook on the yarn, bring the short end over the hook and the long end over the short end to make a circle. Put the yarn around the hook and bring my hook with the yarn at the end through the circle. And then I work 1 chain and 6 single crochet into my circle. I pull the circle tight, so I take hold of this tail and ease it in, and then join with a slip stitch in the top of the first stitch. And fasten off. So that's the centre part of the wheel done. I'll make another one for the other wheel. We start with a magic loop, work 1 chain and 6 single crochet into the circle. We pull the circle tight and join with a slip stitch in the top of the first stitch and fasten off. I'll weave in these ends and I'll be back with the white and the metal grey, and we'll work the next sections. Now for the centre white section, we join our 106, the white, to the front loop only of any stitch. This is the front loop here, and that's the back loop. So just in the front loop only. And we'll work a slip stitch into the front loop only of each stitch around. So put our hook into the front loop and bring through a loop and take it straight through. And just work like that right around. We'll be working the metal grey section into the back loop. And then we fasten off when we get back to the beginning of the row. And I'll work the other one. We join in the front loop only of any stitch. And work 1 slip stitch in each stitch in the front loop only. and fasten off. Now for this darker grey section, we join our 242, the metal grey, to the back loop only of any stitch. I like to join just before the join of the white, so just in here. Because I'm going to work over the top of the one white thread and the grey thread, not this one at the front. Now we start with 2 chain and we'll be working 2 double crochet into the back loop only of each of the 6 stitches. For a double crochet we put the yarn around the hook, hook into the stitch and bring up a loop. Yarn around the hook, take our hook with the yarn at the end through 2 loops, yarn around the hook, hook with the yarn at the end through 2 more loops. So we need another double crochet into that stitch and then 2 double crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. And we join with a slip stitch into the top of the first stitch and fasten off. And that's the first 3 parts of the wheel. I'll work the other one off camera and I'll weave in these ends and I'll be back with the white and the black and we'll work the next 2 sections. For the 4th row of the wheels we join our 106 as Snow White in the front loop only of any stitch. And work 1 slip stitch into the front loop only of each stitch around. And fasten off. Now I'll work the other one off camera. Now for the last row we join the 110, the black, to the back loop only of any stitch. I'll join mine just before the join of the white. We start with one chain and we'll work 2 half double crochet into the back loop only of each stitch around. I'll be working over the top of those 2 tails again. And we join with a slip stitch in the top of the first stitch and fasten off. And that's the wheel done. I'll work the other one off camera and I'll be back and we'll attach a mudguard. For the mudguard, we join the 192, the Scarlet, in any stitch of the last row of the wheel. And work 2 chain. We work 2 half double crochet in the same stitch as the join, one half double crochet into the next stitch and 2 half double crochet into the following stitch. Then 1 half double crochet into the next stitch, 2 half double crochet into the following stitch, one half double crochet into the next stitch and 2 half double crochet into the following stitch. One half double crochet into the next stitch and 2 half double crochet into the following stitch, and then work 2 chain and slip stitch in the same stitch as the last half double crochet and fasten off. And that's the first mudguard. The second mudguard is worked the same. We join the scarlet in any stitch on the wheel and work 2 chain. We work 2 half double crochet in the same stitch as the join, one half double crochet into the next stitch, and 2 half double crochet into the following stitch, one half double crochet into the next stitch, and 2 half double crochet into the following stitch, one half double crochet into the next stitch, and 2 half double crochet into the following stitch, one half double crochet into the next stitch, and 2 half double crochet into the following stitch, work 2 chain and slip stitch in the same stitch as the last half double crochets and fasten off. And that's the second mudguard done. For the small ladder, using the 106 of Snow White, we work 20 chain, we miss the first chain and work 1 slip stitch into each of the next 2 chain, and then work 5 chain. We miss the first chain and work 1 slip stitch into each of the next 2 chain, and then work 1 chain. We miss the next of the original chain and work 1 double crochet into the following chain, then work 1 chain and miss the next of the original chain and work a double crochet in the following chain, and we'll repeat that across 1 chain, miss the next of the original chain and work a double crochet into the next one, then 1 chain, miss 1 chain and work a double crochet into the next chain, and then 1 chain, miss the next and work a double crochet into the next chain, and repeat that until we've got 1 chain left. Now there's one chain left. I work one chain and fasten off. And that's a small ladder done. For this white strip, I've still got my white, and we start with 36 chain. We miss the first chain and work one half double crochet in each remaining chain. And fasten off. And that's the white stripe done. Now for the window, I've got my 509, the baby blue, and I start with 13 chain. We miss the first chain and work one single crochet in each remaining chain. We'll have 12 stitches. For row 2, we start with one chain and turn and work a joined single crochet over the first 2 stitches. So we put the hook into the first stitch and bring up a loop, hook into the next stitch and bring up a loop. There's 3 loops on the hook. We put the yarn around the hook and take the hook with the yarn at the end through all the loops. Then work one single crochet in each stitch to the end. We'll have 11 stitches. For row 3, we start with one chain and turn and work one single crochet in each of the 11 stitches. For row 4, we start with one chain and turn. We work a joined single crochet over the first 2 stitches. Then one single crochet in each stitch to the end. We'll have 10 stitches. For row 5, we start with one chain and turn and work one single crochet in each of the 10 stitches. For row 6, we start with one chain and turn. We work a joined single crochet over the first 2 stitches and then one single crochet in each stitch to the end. And then we work a neatening row. We start with one chain, we don't turn, and we work one slip stitch in each stitch around the window. I'm working a slip stitch because I don't want it to get any wider than it is. We slip stitch into the first stitch and fasten off. And that's the window done. For this little light, I'm also using the light blue, and we start with a magic loop. We work one chain, 3 double crochet into the circle, and then 1 single crochet into the circle. We pull the circle tight and fasten off. And that's the light. For this joining piece between the cab and the back section, I've got my 242, the metal grey, and I join 2 stitches down from the top. So this stitch here, we start with 3 chain, and work 1 double crochet in each stitch down to just before the step. So this stitch here, a double crochet as a treble using UK terms. So I'm just before the step. I fasten off, leaving a longer tail. I'll use it to stitch it to the back section. And that's the joining part. For the siren, I start with the 110, the black, and I join just at the top of this first window section. I'll just join into the back loop only. And work one chain. I work one slip stitch in the same stitch as the join, and then one slip stitch in each of the next 2 stitches. And fasten off the black. And then we join the 208, the yellow gold, to the first stitch, and work one chain. We work 2 single crochet into the second stitch, and slip stitch into the last stitch, and fasten off. And that's the siren done. For the large ladder, I've got my 07 for the Mercury, and I start with 28 chain. We miss the first chain and work one single crochet in each remaining chain. And then we slip stitch into the back of that first chain there. If you'd prefer, you could do one chain before you slip stitch. And then we work 30 chain for the second side. We miss the first chain and work one single crochet into each of the next 21 chain. We work a joined single crochet over the next 3 stitches. So we put the hook into the next stitch and bring up a loop, hook into the following stitch and bring up a loop, and then hook into the one after and bring up a loop. There are 4 loops on the hook. We put the yarn around the hook and take the hook with the yarn at the end through all the loops. Then work one single crochet in each of the remaining chain. Then we slip stitch into the back of the next chain from the first lot of chain, and fasten off. And that's the outside part of the ladder. Now for the rungs, we've just got to be careful that we put them in the right place. We join our cotton to the 4th last stitch of the original chain, so the back loop of the chain down here, and we work 4 chain, and then we join it to the other side. We've just got to be careful that it doesn't spin around. I like to join going up from the back, so we join in the 4th last stitch along the other rung, the other side of the ladder, and then just make sure that it's still straight. and then we work one single crochet in each of the chain, and then slip stitch in the same stitch as the join and fasten off. And that's the ladder so far. I'll weave in those ends so it's easier to work the other 3 rungs. Now for the second rung, I'm working it at this other end. So I'll join in about here on the bottom, and work 4 chain. And then I join across where it will meet on the other side. I think it will be this stitch here. I'll join in the back, and then I'll just check that it's going to be fairly even. Could probably go back 1 stitch. And then we work the 4 chain, the single crochet in each of the 4 chain, and slip stitch into the same stitch as the join and fasten off. And we need 2 more rungs evenly in between. I'm not so good at getting them real even. I'll work 1 about here, work the 4 chain and slip stitch in the other side, and then work 1 single crochet into each of the 4 chain, and slip stitch into the same stitch as the join and fasten off. And then we need another rung about halfway between the first rung and the last rung we worked. So in about there. Work 4 chain, slip stitch about halfway between the other 2 rungs, and then work 1 single crochet into each of the 4 chain. Slip stitch into the same stitch as the join and fasten off. And that's the large ladder done. I'll just weave in those ends and then we'll work the supports. For this ladder support, we make enough chain to zigzag from this corner across and then up to this corner and then back down to this corner. I'll be using the 242, the metal grey, and I'm going to leave a tail at each end to attach it in behind the ladder, and I'll use cotton to stitch these other 2. So for some I work about 26 chain, so I'll work 26 chain and see how it looks. Now that's 26 chain, I'll just try it. Yes, that's about right for mine. So I'll fasten off, leaving a longer tail. And that's the ladder support done. For the hose, I'll be using my 110, the black. I leave a long tail at each end of it as well, and I work 12 chain. I miss the first chain and work 1 slip stitch in each of the next 3 chain. And then I fasten off, leaving a bit of a longer tail. I use those to stitch it down, and that's the hose done. Now we'll work these doors now. They both work the same. I've got my 192, the Scarlet, and we start with 6 chain. For row 1, we miss the first chain and work 1 single crochet in each of the last 5 chains. For row 2, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 5 stitches. And then we do a neatening row right around our work. We start with 1 chain and we work a single crochet in the first stitch there, and then 1 in the middle of our work. Into the corner we work 2 single crochet, or 1 single crochet, 1 chain and 1 single crochet, and then 1 single crochet in each stitch down the side. Into the corner we work either 2 single crochet or 1 single crochet, 1 chain and 1 single crochet. And then a single crochet in the middle, and then work the corner the same as you have been. And then 1 single crochet in each stitch down the side. And then a single crochet into the corner, and then join to the first stitch with a slip stitch and fasten off. And that's the first door done. For the second door we start with 6 chain, we miss the first chain and work 1 single crochet in each remaining chain. For row 2 we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 5 stitches. And then we work our neatening row. So 1 single crochet in each stitch on the straight edges, and 2 single crochet or 1 single crochet, 1 chain and 1 single crochet in the corner stitches. and join with a slip stitch in the top of the first stitch and fasten off. And that's the second door done. The last thing to do is these two knobs or buttons or whatever they are. I'll be working those with my 07 for the Mercury, and we start with a magic loop. We work 1 chain and 5 single crochet into the circle. We pull the circle tight and join with a slip stitch in the top of the first stitch and fasten off. And we've got a small circle. The next ones work the same. We start with a magic loop and work 1 chain, then 5 single crochet into the circle. We pull the circle tight and join with a slip stitch in the top of the first stitch. And fasten off. And that's all the pieces worked. I'll just weave in the rest of the ends that need to be woven in, and then I'll be back and we'll put it together. Now there's all the pieces. I've got the 2 wheels, 2 knobs, 2 doors, the window, the light, the back section, the cab, the small ladder, the stripe, the large ladder and the support and the hose. The first things I'll do is attach the windows in behind there. I stitch it from the back and I'll attach the light just at the front there, and I'll also attach the support from the front. I stitch down one edge and then zigzag it across there and stitch that down with cotton and zigzag it across to the other side and stitch it down with cotton and then stitch the last one with the tail. The next things I'll do is embroider these 2 yellow dots in the centre of these knobs. I'll embroider the door handles, just a little dash under the middle and the back window, and I'll attach the sections together by the joining part. I put them evenly together and then just stitch across with the yarn, just stitch them together across there so they're even. Next we attach a wheel to the cab, so just in there, the bottom of the mudguard goes just to the bottom of the step there, and we attach one to the back section, so just in about there. Next we attach the strip just above the wheels across there, and the ladder right at the top of the back section. We need to have enough room for the doors to go in between them, so I make sure that the strip is just above the back wheels and the ladder right at the top there. Next we attach a door right at the front of the back section, and then the other one right at the back of the back section, and the two knobs go near the front door, just evenly there, so that we've got room to put the hose in between the knobs and the back door. Next I stitch the hose in between the knobs and the back door. So in about there, I use the black thread to stitch it down. Now next we embroider a nozzle at the top of the hose, and then using the same grey, a strip across the hose just at the top of the bend there, and then a yellow strip just across the top of the hose where between the top and the nozzle. And then the last thing to do is attach the large ladder at the top of the back section with a tiny bit onto the cab, so in about there. So I'll do that and I'll be back to show you the finished fire engine. There's the finished fire engine. The size is 16 centimetres wide by 13 centimetres, or 6¼ inches wide by 5 inches. If you've liked my video, please like, subscribe and share. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest and Twitter. The details are in the description below, along with the details of my website where I have my patterns, the details of my Facebook group and the details of my Patreon. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.